It is 30 days till the man burns, and today we're talking about things that will get you refused entry to Burning Man. I know that for the more paranoid among us, it can be a big fear that you will get all the way to the gate, you're almost home, and then at the last second, they decide that you cannot come in and you get turned away at the gate. So first up, voided, cancelled, invalid, or counterfeit tickets. Every year there is a problem with scalpers, people that buy tickets during the Burning Man ticket sales and then try to sell those on for a higher price. And to try and prevent that from happening, Burning Man will void any tickets that they know have been scalped. You really shouldn't buy from scalpers. It just, encourages them to do that, to try and scoop up as many tickets as they can to sell on for a profit. So Burning Man does release a list of all the voided or cancelled ticket numbers or transaction IDs. So if you are concerned that that could have happened to your ticket, then, check out that list. I will link it in the description box below when it's up. But if you don't manage to get tickets through the Burning Man sale and you end up, trying to buy them from someone else online or, somewhere that's not through the official Burning Man means of getting tickets, then unfortunately there are a lot of scalpers and scammers out there. You don't want to end up at the gate and find that your ticket is counterfeit, or you head to will call and find out that, you've been scammed and you don't actually have any tickets. So be really careful however you are buying your tickets if they are not through the Burning Man ticket sales or the STEP program. Stowaways. If you bring a stowaway, if you bring someone along in your vehicle that does not have a ticket, then you will all be refused entry. Everyone in that vehicle will be turned away. Back in the past, that wouldn't happen. You would just kind of get punished. You would be taken to D-Lot for some re-education. The stowaway would have to buy a ticket with some kind of tax added to it. But ultimately, you would still all get to go to Burning Man. But now there just aren't enough tickets. You're not going to be able to buy a ticket at the gate. And so to try and discourage that from happening, to try and discourage, people sneaking in, things like that, if you have a stowaway, then none of you are getting in. No one in that vehicle is going to be able to get in. If you didn't get enough tickets for your group, if you are considering trying to convince your friends to smuggle you in somehow, then, bear in mind that you could be ruining it for everyone, not just for yourself. Make sure that everyone in your vehicle has a valid ticket. The exception to that is if someone in your car genuinely thinks they have a ticket and it turns out that ticket has been voided or they've bought a counterfeit ticket or something, then you're not intentionally trying to sneak someone in, you're accidentally trying to sneak someone in. And so in those cases, you aren't all going to be denied entry, but you will have to deal with the person that doesn't have a ticket. You will have to get them back to Reno or something because they're not going to be able to get in and you can't just abandon them at the gate. If you decide to bring along a pet, you will get turned away at the gate. You will be allowed to return. Unlike with stowaways where, you're refused entry completely, you cannot return to try and get in. With pets, you will get turned away to go and deal with that, and then you will be allowed entry. But it is a very difficult thing to deal with. You're going to be headed back to Reno and, attempting to find somewhere that's going to look after your pet for the week. And chances are most of the places are going to be full. It's going to be quite hard for you to find somewhere appropriate to leave your pet. And aside from that, it's just going to be annoying for you to have waited all the way to get to the gate, to have to turn around and go all the way back to repeat that journey again. If you're picking up your tickets from will call, make sure you have anything you need to pick up those tickets. So you'll want some government ID. It doesn't have to be from the American government, just some valid ID. And your ticket number. Make it easy for them to find those tickets. Burning Man releases a list of banned items and you do not want to bring along those items. While a lot of the banned items, they're not going to get you refused entry or turned away at the gate. If you accidentally bring along some glitter, then they're just going to confiscate that from you and dispose of it. If you decide to come along with a truck just packed full of fireworks, you might find yourself getting turned away to go and get rid of those banned items before you're allowed entry. Again, it means you're making the journey all the way to the gate to make it all the way back to get rid of that stuff to come all the way back. And you're not allowed to just dump it. You need to dispose of it in a responsible way. Getting arrested is a pretty surefire way to make sure that you're not getting into Burning Man. The gate staff perform searches, but they are really looking for, banned items or stowaways. But there are often law enforcement officers hanging around as well. And while most things they're just going to get you a citation or a fine or get you a bit of a talking to from law enforcement officers, if you're not wearing your seatbelt or things like that, you don't want to do anything that's going to get you arrested. You don't want to bring anything that could get you arrested. Because, if that happens, you are not going to be spending your time having fun at Burning Man. You are going to be dealing with the fact that you have been arrested and whatever comes from that. General bad behavior. While this might not get you refused entry because, probably gate staff are having quite limited amount of interaction with you. Once you are inside of Black Rock City, if your behavior is really bad, you could find yourself being kicked out. Burning Man does reserve the right to refuse entry to people or to ask people to leave. So your behavior might not be bad enough to get you arrested or anything, but you could reach a point where Burning Man are just like, hey, you need to leave. People getting kicked out is not a frequent thing, it's quite a rare occurrence. But the stories you do hear about people getting kicked out, generally alcohol or drugs are involved where they've just managed to, get completely out of control, and whatever's going on has just escalated to the point where they're like, you need to leave the event, you are a danger to yourself or to others, or you're just causing such a nuisance, you're impacting everyone around you so negatively that, you have to leave. Or it's down to, a lack of communication and not treating each other with respect. If law enforcement decide that they need to have a conversation with you, or rangers, medical staff, they should all be treated with respect. Even if you feel like the situation's unfair or you are not being treated with respect, if those kind of entities are trying to talk to you about your behavior, then it's probably time to be a bit contrite and respectful and, handle the situation in a very calm, nice manner so that things don't end up escalating to the point where you find yourself being kicked out or arrested or anything. Burning Man is a community, and in general, the community does try and deal with things itself. And rangers are a part of that community as well. Often no one wants to escalate a situation to the point where, law enforcement need to get involved with it. But if you're behaving so badly that, the community or the rangers, they feel like law enforcement need to get involved, especially, if you are a danger to yourself or to other people, you're becoming violent or something, then it's going to be quite hard for you to come back from that if it does reach that point. So, pay attention to the people around you, especially if you have been drinking or doing drugs. You may think that what you're doing is like reasonable behavior, but if you have multiple people around you telling you that you are being a nuisance, that you are behaving badly, that you are problematic, it might be worth heading back to your camp and having a sleep, or heading off somewhere else to maybe a calmer environment to just give you a bit of time to kind of gather yourself and reflect on the situation. So I hope this is helpful, guys. I hope none of you end up getting turned away at the gate. I can't imagine how awful it would be to, turn up and then discover that your ticket was like voided or you'd been scammed or something. If any of you have any tips or advice on, how to avoid counterfeit tickets and scams and all of that stuff, or any other kind of rules that could end up getting you refused entry or thrown out, then let us know in the comments below. And if you see me at Burning Man this year, feel free to come and say hi to me. Bye, guys.